Touhou TD came out with an update that looked interesting, so I thought I'd take a quick look at it. If you missed it, I previously made a review video on this game already, so check that out if you haven't. Spoiler, it's a tower defense game and I thought it was fun. Sorry, you were too slow. They added an endless / roguelike mode to the base game and another DLC character pack. But before we talk about that, they they buffed Professor Cherno's damage since I made the last video. I talked about how this stupid fairy did no damage, and other people seem to agree, so she's been buffed. But who cares, because we got a new DLC, the new playable character, and 2 new towers. It's Iku, and honestly, she kinda kicks ass. I don't think she's OP because she has the same problems Yomu did. Her 2 spells require positioning, and she has no oh shit, please save me ability. But all her attacks do magic damage, and her spells have some good synergy. Her attack works similar to Yomu in that it cleaves, but Yomu's problem is that she does physical damage, and oftentimes high armored units are your biggest problem. And Iku's basic attack lowers their magic resistances and combines well with her spells. The ball lightning spell is a bit slow, but is satisfying to nail. The storm? Well, it's a big storm, what is there to say? The 2 towers in the DLC are Miko and Sho. Sho is kind of disappointing. Her damage is good, but unlike the other blast type Danmaku units that are either fast or hit everything around them, she fires a slow moving projectile. Slow enough in fact that she can miss enemies when they go by her, so she has to be positioned just right to be effective, otherwise she's mostly a liability. Miko, however, is very good and possibly overpowered on certain maps. At just level 1, she has the ability to support other Miko towers in range, and the range is actually kind of big. At level 3, she summons swords she can throw at targets. At level 5, she buffs the damage of other Mikos. But what makes her OP is that she can create a damage grid that covers a large area, and even with low level Mikos, they'll hit substantially harder with the supporting ones. Some of the older X maps only have a minimal amount of space you can place units, and this one right here I actually didn't 3-star, so I thought I'd just spam Mikos and see if that worked. And yes it did. There is a system to combat using the same unit over and over. Their cost to place keeps going up, so it becomes much more expensive to place them. On endless mode, the price keeps increasing indefinitely, but on normal maps, it caps out at double the price. And with her having a very low base price already, it just incentivizes you to spam her. Alright, let's talk about the endless mode. In this mode, it disables your skill tree, so all those upgrades you got before won't do anything. So that's where the roguelike part comes in. You can now get skills from the tree in your endless run. You can also get newer, more powerful abilities sometimes. But they added something in just as I was attempting to write this script. They have now also added unique buffs for every tower. I'll just call them red buffs. You get to choose 1 celestial upgrade and 1 red buff when you start. For example, remember when I said Miko was quite powerful? Well, her red buff lets magic shrines affect all other Mikos, which means it's now possible for me to have damage up, attack speed, and magic damage for every Miko on the map now. They're all pretty powerful and keep the endless mode more interesting. There's several new items to use, like a blue star that can be used as a free upgrade, this red thing that powers up with the damage on your towers, but this being a roguelike, the stuff you get at the start along with the position of the power-ups is random, so the skill you get to start with will be different each time. But here's my tip after several runs failing around wave 10. Use your key immediately on the locked box to the right. You will get a random tower, even possibly a rare tower that doesn't appear anywhere else. If you get something good, then congrats. Otherwise, I do the same thing I do in any roguelike. I reset. The waves and enemies are also random, which mostly isn't a problem, except for one time I got high health flyers really early on and wasn't sure what the hell I was supposed to do about that. They added 20 to 30 new enemies, along with new bosses in this update too. And after a boss wave, you get to choose a new skill. On one of my runs, I decided to test the waters. It kept offering me spell tower cooldown reduction, and I had to know if this ability I picked up would keep stacking. And yes it does. You see, spell towers in addition to their basic attacks have a spell they can cast on a hidden cooldown. Yuko has a long cooldown on hers, but Letty's is pretty low. So now with 75% cooldown reduction, Letty can make it rain ice non-stop. The dev put the goalpost as surviving 50 waves to pass the test, and after a few failed attempts, I finally get one all the way to 96. All in all, it's a fun addition and a worthy challenge. But of course, I would like to see them extend endless mode to have additional maps and not just this one, at least eventually. Okay, let's talk about the new X challenges and enemies real quick. X map designs are fun, and the numerous new enemies are a nice touch, except for a few. Okay, I'm probably just biased, but if there's one thing I hate in tower defense games, it's enemies that shield other units. And we now got 3 enemies that do that. Actually, scratch that. 2 of them are just auras. One gives physical armor and the other magical armor. This is challenging but doable on my second attempt on one X map because the physical armor ones go down one lane and the magic one's another. I have some close calls, but I managed to do it. But then on my attempt on this map, everything is going just fine until it doesn't. Everything has shields and then I lose. To be fair, I am playing on Lunatic, but shielding enemies will always annoy me. They also added a 2x speed to this game, and there's other minor things I could talk about. But I want to keep this video short so I can maintain my sanity and the viewer's attention span. The game is still fun, and I'm surprised they continue to add more. As for me, I got plenty more games to check out, and I plan to return to streaming on Twitch soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.